It was raining the day I met a stranger on platform 3. Not the soft romantic kind of rain, the kind that soaks through your clothes and makes you question every decision that brought you there. The train was late, of course it was. Everyone stood quietly staring at their phones, pretending they weren't tired, pretending they weren't going through something. Then I noticed him. He wasn't looking at his phone. He was just pacing. He was just watching the rain like it was telling him a story only he could hear. After a while, he turned to me and said, "Funny how we are always in a hurry, but the rain never is." I didn't know whether to laugh or ignore him, but something about the way he said it made me stay. We started talking about nothing at first, the weather, the late rain, the city, then about everything. He told me he had just quit his job, packed one suitcase, decided to start over somewhere new. No plans? I asked. Plans are just polite ways of telling life you don't trust it. When the train finally arrived, loud and impatient, we stood up. He picked up his suitcase. I picked up my doubts. And just before the doors closed, he said, "Whatever you're afraid of to do, do it." Then he stepped on, and I never saw him again. But 3 weeks later, I quit my job. And every time it rains, I think about platform 3 and the stranger who reminded me that sometimes the scariest step forward is the one that changes everything. 3 weeks after I quit my job, I stood in an empty apartment surrounded by half-packed boxes and second thoughts. The silence was loud. No emails, no meetings, no 5-year plan taped to the fridge. Just me and the echo of the stranger's voice. Whatever you are afraid to do, do it. I told everyone I needed a break, a reset, a chance to find myself. But the truth, I had no idea what I was doing. Days turned into weeks. I applied for nothing, planned nothing. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to wake up without an alarm. And then one afternoon, it started raining. Not heavily, just enough to blur the world outside my window. Something in me shifted. Without thinking, I grabbed my coat and went back to the train station, platform 3. I didn't know what I expected, that he'll be there again, watching the rain like some mysterious guardian of crossroads. He wasn't, but standing there felt different this time. The platform wasn't a place of waiting anymore. It was a place of choosing. I realized something I hadn't understood that first day. He wasn't brave because he had no plans. He was brave because he trusted himself to figure it out. Months later, I published my first short story. Just a reminder that courage doesn't always arrive with a plan. Sometimes it arrives on a delayed train.